We're having some talks with Russia. Ukraine is doing well. I think they're pretty happy about it. They're going to keep talking. They're talking to Russia now. Steve Witkoff is going over. Maybe with Jared, they're going to be meeting with President Putin, I believe, next week in Moscow.
That's President Trump on Air Force One overnight with an update on negotiations to end the Russia-Ukraine war. The president addressing concerns from Ukraine's Zelensky over ceding territory. Watch.
Do you think that Ukraine was being asked to give too much land back to Russia?
The way it's going, if you look, it's just moving in one direction. So eventually that's land that over the next couple of months might be gotten by Russia anyway. So do you want to fight and lose another 50, 60,000 people? Or do you want to do something now?
Do you have a new deadline?
When it's over. And I think everybody's tired of fighting at this moment. They're losing too many people.
Zelensky agreeing to the core terms of President Trump's revised 19-point peace plan with only, quote, minor details to be sorted out. But the Kremlin says the new plans need, quote, serious analysis, claiming that it was not discussed in Abu Dhabi this week with American officials. Joining me now is the Heritage Foundation Vice President of National Security, Victoria Coates. Victoria, once again, pushback from Russia. I'm really questioning at this point if Vladimir Putin really wants to end this war. Good to see you, Victoria.
Good to see you too, Maria. Yes, I mean, we're almost 4 years into this, so he's had ample opportunities to end it over that time period. He hasn't been interested, but this is the first time that anyone's put a plan on the table to end the war in 4 years. I mean, Joe Biden certainly never did any such thing. The congressional Democrats never did when they were in power. So that now we have a plan, and there has been some movement on it. And so we can see if we can start to build some international pressure on Putin, starting with China. I was fascinated by that phone call, Maria, that took place earlier this week when Xi reached out to President Trump for the first time, rather than vice versa. Usually that's what Xi prefers. But now he's reaching out. So if there's movement in China, we might actually get somewhere.
Yeah, that's really interesting that Xi took the initiative to call President Trump. Meanwhile, the dispute over Taiwan seems to be heating up, Beijing pressuring Japan after President Trump held phone calls with Xi Jinping and also a phone call with Japan's new prime minister, Sanai Takaichi, which appears to be that they have a very good relationship. President Trump expected to visit Beijing in April after the president told us that Xi Jinping invited him. And then President Trump reciprocated and said that Xi Jinping will be in Washington sometime next year. Victoria, tell me more about your analysis of that call and how this relationship plays out in 26, you think?
Well, I do think the new Japanese Prime Minister Takaichi is just a breath of fresh air, Maria. She is an iron lady on the world stage, a heavy metal drummer, a disciple of Margaret Thatcher. So I think she is going to take the world by storm. And she has been very strong on Taiwan. She's looked at a map. She knows that in that first island chain, if China takes Taiwan, Japan is next. And she's not going to let that happen. So she's been very strong on her rhetoric on Taiwan. And what's interesting is China's backed off a little bit. I mean, bear in mind, Japan is a very significant economy, a very strong country investing in its defense, huge asset to the United States. So I think that relationship, as we go into these engagements with Xi, as soon as April, then maybe he'll come here in the fall. A strong U.S.-Japan alliance is a great position of strength for President Trump to go into those meetings with.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it was so smart of President Trump to ensure that he had these relationships in place and to encourage a stronger partnership between the U.S. and Japan, even before he met with Xi Jinping. And, of course, then there's Israel and Gaza. Israel has received the body of another deceased hostage from Hamas overnight. The search goes on for 2 bodies remaining in Gaza following targeted airstrikes in the Gaza Strip just in the last few days after Hamas militants and other terrorist groups reportedly crossed the yellow withdrawal line, threatening IDF soldiers again. Back at home, President Trump signed an executive order earlier this week designating specific chapters of the Muslim Brotherhood as global terrorists. I wondered what you thought of that move as well.
No, this was a historic move by the president to start the designation of the Muslim Brotherhood. Bear in mind The Muslim Brotherhood originated in Egypt 100 years ago. They are the so-called political arm of radical Islam. That's where Hamas comes from. They are part of the Muslim Brotherhood from Egypt. And so that's what you get out of the Muslim Brotherhood, these militant terrorist groups that want to attack Israel, attack the United States, attack our more moderate Gulf partners and allies. So what President Trump is espousing is similar to what Senator Cruz has been working on, a kind of bottom-up approach by identifying individual elements of the Brotherhood and designating those as foreign terrorist groups in an effort to get to sort of what you might think of as the head of the snake when we can ultimately designate the whole thing.
It's unbelievable. President Trump is doing so much. Meanwhile, there's also Venezuela in the mix as well, Victoria. And I saw what you tweeted out on X, and you write, an unnoticed part of the end game for Venezuela, the country's most valuable foreign asset, oil refiner Citgo, is being sold at a fire sale to satisfy creditors. Tell me about this.
Now, this is a really important development. So Citgo is their biggest foreign asset. It's based in Houston, really, and it is also one of our domestically biggest refiners. And it's, for me, has always been a glaring national security vulnerability that was controlled by Venezuela, of all countries. But it's been seized now and is being sold for about $6 billion to Elliott Investment Management, an American company. And so that is going to be a great development. It's probably worth close to $20 billion. It's a really important asset, but that's what's happening to Venezuela. They're being stripped of pretty much everything that kept that country pulled together. This is just going to increase the pressure on Maduro. So see this in concert with the extraordinary military buildup we have in the Caribbean, the biggest buildup since Iraq. To get Maduro out of power, he has to go to Russia. That's really the only place that will take him. He can live out his days there with his family, with Bashar al-Assad. I'm fine with that. But let's make Venezuela great again. Let's make it into a great partner to the United States.
Well, I mean, it's pretty incredible that Elliott Management could acquire Citgo for such a rock-bottom price right now. That was a big victory for Elliott.
Yes, it's great for Elliott, but also great for the United States, great for Houston and Texas. And this is really critical to the president's overall energy strategy, that we are building up our infrastructure at home to not just pump, not just drill, baby, drill, but also refine. And so we can actually use that gas. And Elliott and Amber, which is its subsidiary that's going to be doing this, has announced new investments, new enhancement to those facilities in Houston. So that's just going to increase our capacity.
Always great analysis, Victoria. We so appreciate you. Thanks very much. We will see you soon, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving,
Thank you, Maria.
Victoria.
Happy Thanksgiving.